Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another version here. We're doing 7.3 today, and we're talking about political machines and the corruption in politics in what we are going to eventually refer to as the Gilded Age. First thing, with a political machine, it is really just a group of people that ensures a political party has enough votes to maintain power. It could be Democrat, it could be Republican, it doesn't matter. The political machine's job is to keep whatever party is in power to make sure that they have power. Now, this picture here is a little cycle. As we can see, first is residents vote. That's the one thing that citizens have that politicians will always need is the vote. And so residents vote for the candidate. Machines run the city. They have power of the city and then government, as you can see here. They work to control city politics, to dominate city politics. So they are the one group that has say. And it's run by powerful bosses. We're going to learn about that in a second. And they have all sorts of influence and authority over city officials. And with that influence and authority, the machines hand out jobs, contracts to build things, favors. Maybe there's a legal problem that you need to take care of. Maybe there's something going on, like the trash hasn't been picked up on your street, or there's no snow plowing, whatever it is. As long as you vote for those people and they owe you something because you voted for them, then they will return the favor in the sense of helping you out, whether it be something big like a job or maybe something small like getting your street snow plowed. The thing is, though, it's almost always associated with corruption. It's not legal, and it's not on the up and up. Graft is often a part of any political machine, and it is the illegal use of political influence for personal gain. It's usually money, but not always. So, for example, you could say, "Hey, listen, we're going to build a new park right here, right by here. It's going to affect all the property values are going to go up super, super high, and we're going to announce that in about 2 months." Well, you tell that to a friend, and their friend says, "Oh, that's fantastic. I think I'll buy up all the property for sale around it. Then when you announce the park, whatever I paid for my property will go way up in value. Bam! I just made tons of money." And so, of course, if you can hand out these sorts of benefits, you know that you can use it to win elections. Hey, make sure that you vote for me, because if you don't, I'm not in power, I can't really help you. I can't give you these tips. I can't make your life easier. Sometimes, of course, it's just for sheer profit. And sometimes it's, hey, we need to make sure there's plenty of money in the account for the political machine so we can continue to roll politics at the city level. Boss Tweed, one of the most famous and probably one of the most corrupt politicians of all time. He, of course, was a boss of this very, very powerful New York political machine, Tammany Hall. Which was very powerful for a number of years. The thing is, with this guy's story, he was so unbelievably rich, and apparently just became, greedy and more greedy. And eventually, he was actually sentenced to prison, escaped, and then was caught and ended up dying poor and embarrassed. Patronage. This is another way that political machines keep power. As you can see it here, it says, the party boss who has the power, he's handing out special privilege. See, here's another immunity to arrest. Oftentimes it'd be, perhaps a government job, all sorts of things. And as long as you're a friend and you've done something, you've helped them get elected, oh, okay, well, here, I'm going to hand out the favors. And remember, it really, in some ways, is a symbiotic relationship from the standpoint that the political boss can't do anything unless he is elected and in power. And he gets that election, he gets the power, the votes from the people. And the people need a political boss to hand out, in this case, sorts of favors. And so the way they get that is by providing the vote. Civil service. We're talking about civil service jobs, but civil service is just any sort of government job serving the public. Teachers, mailmen, mail carriers, firefighters, air traffic controllers, you name it. Anything that serves the public is considered civil service. Now, the Pendleton Civil Service Act, one of the problems is that a lot of these politicians, they were handing out jobs to friends. Oh, you helped me get elected, here's this great job. Here, you helped me get elected, here's another job for you. And oftentimes, the person may or may not be qualified. If you give out, let's say, the fire chief job to a friend and they don't know anything about fighting a fire, well, that could lead to serious problems if a fire does in fact break out. And so people thought it was corrupt and also dangerous. And that's why the Pendleton Civil Service Act came about. And it was a law that implemented a merit system. You had to prove you knew what you were doing and that you were good at it. Not just anyone could show up and say, hey, look at me, I want this job. Oh, really? Well, what are your qualifications? Well, I'm the mayor's friend. It's like, well, what does that do? That doesn't help anybody. And so the Pendleton Civil Service Act at least cut down on the amount of patronage that the political bosses could give. Then we go into our long list of presidents. Rutherford B. Hayes, 19th president. James A. Garfield, 20th president. Of course, if you notice, I don't know if you can see it here, he's only there. He was assassinated, so that was not very good. Chester A. Arthur, he finished Garfield's term there, 21st president. And Grover Cleveland. It's weird, 22nd and 24th. So as you can see, he won in that election, then lost, and then ran again, and then won again. That's pretty bizarre. And finally, Benjamin Harrison, who was the 23rd president. All right, thank you so much.